Hello everyone, I am Nayaswami Maria and it is my joy to be with you for this brief webinar as a part of Living the Principles of Self-Realization on magnetism. And this is a wonderful topic and it is very relevant to our daily lives, and I want to share some of that immediate relevance with you. Magnetism isn't a word I don't think that is in our vocabulary very much. Certainly we don't give enough emphasis to it from the very beginning of our lives. It's a universal principle, it's a universal law, we might say, because truly magnetism governs the daily outcome, the moment by moment outcome of our lives, even if we are not aware of it. Just for review, remember, the greater the will, the greater the flow of energy. And the greater the flow of energy, the greater the magnetism. So how does that work? And I'll give you an example of this, even though, again, we might not be aware of it. This law is at work. When I was growing up, and I assume it's fairly much the same for most of us, we go along in life and it takes a while to understand how things work and how our actions, our thoughts, our feelings, our behavior, all of these are moment by moment dictating the outcome for us. And so I grew up, I was going along in life, and I wanted certain things, but I didn't understand this principle of magnetism. I didn't understand that in truth I am a living, breathing, walking magnet. I am attracting things. I am pushing things away by my behavior, by my actions, by my thoughts. And I got to a place in my life where I observed that this was true. The things that were happening to me were things I had somehow attracted to myself. And if I didn't like them and I didn't want them, I could also not attract them. So this is a big turning point in our lives. And from that point, we start to institute behavior, actions, attitudes that will draw to us what we want. And so my desire became, I couldn't say what my life would be. I couldn't at the moment just say I want this job and have it. But I realized there was a connection there. And so my desire became, I want my life to be worthwhile. I want my life to be of service to others. And I let that be the predominant thought in my consciousness. And within a couple of years, then I attracted my spiritual path. And this was pivotal because my path, spiritual path, my discipleship ultimately to the great Indian master Paramahansa Yogananda, this immediately and over time transformed my life and brought me in tune and more deeply in tune with everything I really wanted, with happiness itself, with a meaningful life and a very meaningful spiritual life. I lived here at Ananda Village for 10 years with my husband, Nayaswami Ananta. And at that time, at that juncture, Swami Kriyananda, the founder of Ananda communities worldwide, asked us if we would like to serve in Sacramento as spiritual directors there. And see what we could help to manifest in terms of Yogananda's vision for communities everywhere. And in this case, in Sacramento. Up to this point, we had been serving primarily on Ananda Farm at the village. So we went to Sacramento. We told Swamiji that we would try this and we would do the best that we could. And in the background of my mind, because this was a very new setting, a new circumstance, we would be back now in an urban environment, a very busy environment, serving many, many people, and needing to call on all the creativity we could bring to bear and to be in tune. What is Paramahansa Yogananda's vision for world brotherhood communities? And so in the back of my mind, I thought, well, we'll give this 5 years. And it wasn't a thought of failure or even necessarily to contain it, the idea, the adventure, but it was a thought that allowed me to truly focus in that situation. Give it 5 years. Give it all you have. Put all of your energy and will and attunement into this beautiful project that is trying to unfold. And don't worry about what if it doesn't work. Don't worry about, will this be successful? Don't worry about, am I doing the right thing all the time? Don't worry about what will I do in 5 years if this doesn't work. Forget all of that and bring your energy to a focus on whatever you are trying to do, whatever you are a part of helping to manifest in this world. Bring your energy to a focus. Don't think about anything else. Think about, devote yourself. How can I be a part of this? How can it work? What is trying to happen? That builds magnetism. It builds the power of attraction, allowing you to attract the people, the needs, the resources to take an idea forward, to take a project forward. Recently, I was asked to do something, and I felt like it was a little over the top. I recognized in that moment, I don't have the energy for this. I'm way too busy. And that thought right there arrests our ability to be magnetic. I don't have the energy. I am too busy. I don't have the time. I don't know how to do this. And so I started to go down that track. And I thought, I'm going to let this other person do it. They're better prepared. They can do it. They have the energy for it. I'm going to let them do it. But I saw that as an attitude in myself in that moment that wasn't helpful. Wasn't at all magnetic. How do we attract to us energy? How do we attract to us ability? How do we attract to us wisdom? By saying yes to life. And this I learned so beautifully from my spiritual teacher, from the life of Swami Kriyananda, the founder of Ananda. Say yes to life. And from the moment I was introduced to these teachings, Swamiji would talk about this principle, would talk about the ability to cultivate magnetism by saying yes to life. So when I saw this attitude, this wrong attitude, this limiting attitude, I recognized it immediately for what it is. I wasn't happy that I was feeling that. I don't like to say no. I try to say yes to whatever comes to me in life. One might say I've been trained that way, and I am so very grateful for it. because we cut ourselves short when we say no without a good reason. You know, if you're tired, if you need a break, fine. We all need balance. We all need to see the bigger picture and put it into perspective. But this wasn't one of those situations requiring balance. It was one that I truly needed to respond to by saying yes. So I thought to myself, well, I'm going to meditate this evening. I'm going to get up tomorrow morning. I'm going to meditate. And then I'll look at this again. I'll look at this again and see what is the appropriate response for me, for my growth, for my spiritual being. And so I meditated that evening. I went to sleep, had a good night's sleep. I got up, went into my meditation room, and from the onset, just like that, the energy flowed freely, magnetically. I could see the project. I could see its completion. I could see my ability to carry it out, my part. It was fluid. It was clear. And I knew that my answer had to be yes. And so be aware of that in your own life. When you're asked to do something, when you're given something to be a part of, go inside and see if you can feel your energy around that answer of yes. Yes. Gladly, gratefully, I will do this. It helps to build our magnetism so powerfully. And from that magnetism, remember magnetism, this is about the movement of will through energy, through magnetism, the power of attraction or the power of repulsion. And we want to keep attracting that which is good, that which is of the light, that which is big and expansive, for the sake of all, for the sake of our own being, right? So Yogananda, when he was going to come to this country, come to America, he went for a final blessing from his guru, Swami Sri Yukteswar. And Sri Yukteswar said to him, wherever you go, even in a wilderness, you will attract friends. I've always loved those words. They're comforting, they're ennobling. They make one feel confident in the blessing that comes to us, each one of us, from the divine. Yukteswar spoke those words in truth because Yogananda was a being of love. Prem Avatar, incarnation of love. And although he hadn't been given that name yet at that time by his guru, that would come later, he was already that channel of unconditional love, of unconditional giving, of divine friendship, of goodness, purity. And those are qualities that magnetically attract to us goodness, love in kind, divine friendship in kind. And so Sri Yukteswar's words, even in a wilderness, you will attract true friends, true friendship. So you can see how important magnetism is. It is the power, the divine power within us of attraction, attracting what we need in life, attracting success, attracting a life partner, attracting divine friends, attracting spiritual opportunity. And this is the last point that I want to touch on with you at this time. Spiritual magnetism. Because this is the highest octave, if you will, of magnetism. The ability to magnetically attract spiritual opportunity, spiritual growth, spiritual teaching, a spiritual teacher or master, the saints. This all rests in the law and in the power of being magnetic spiritually. And how do we do that? How do we do that? It's really very simple. And I would encourage each one of you to seriously take up, introduce yourself to the practice of meditation. And learning meditation, practice it. Cultivate the practice of daily meditating. Because what happens in that practice? We perform certain techniques that calm the body, that uplift the energy in the spine. And when that energy is being directed inward, when that energy, our energy, is being directed inward and upward, we are rubbing against that divine magnet of omnipresent light, of omnipresent goodness. And we are becoming in meditation like that. Because when we meditate, we are associating with that divine presence, the light, the Guru, the beloved God. And in association with that, we take on those divine qualities. It's as simple as that. In your life, when you hang out with friends, you can't help but take on a little bit of who they are. You spend time with them. You appreciate their generosity. Maybe it makes you become more generous in life. You appreciate their joy. They always seem to be joyful. Nothing brings them down. And you're with them and you feel that joy. The same thing happens in meditation. We're not in a world unto ourselves. We are joining in communion with the saints, with the masters. And we start to take on a little bit of their nature. Our consciousness expands to greet that, to be one with that. And so we find that in the process of meditation, day by day, week by week, year by year, the decades roll by. And we're living more and more in that reality, not apart from this world. Then in this world, we can draw on that reality. We can draw on that magnetic, divine association. And our life becomes something entirely different, something we hadn't even planned for. But from the very first, if we look back, if we can look back at the whole of our life objectively, we can see that it's something we desired all along the way. And starting with that magnetic desire and coming to the place where we have spiritual teaching, spiritual support, spiritual guidance, the magnetism and grace of the saints, of the masters. We are developing our own power to attract goodness, to attract light, to attract true friendships, to attract divine grace. So I welcome each one of you to go deep in this lesson understand for yourself in your own life how magnetism works, and deepen your magnetism. Spiritualize your magnetism. In this way, take responsibility for your life, and you will see that your life changes. It's transformed, and it becomes one with the divine light, and it reflects in everything that you are and everything that you do, the divine light. Be spiritually magnetic. Thank you, and blessings to each of you.